He said they're ready.
Busy.
Did decide, I think I'm gonna go run into Super
Good morning. It is 10 a.m. on Tuesday, July 30th, 2024. Call this meeting of Wichita County Commissioners Court to order. If everyone would please rise, Commissioner Watts will give our invocation.
Pray with me, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the many blessings you give to us each and every day. Father, we ask that you be with us today and guide and direct us as we take care of the business for this county. Father, to be with those that protect and defend our freedoms around the world and here at home, Father. Keep them safe and watch over them. Father, we pray that all that are sick, that you touch them and heal them, Father, and comfort them as they go through their times of trouble. Father, we pray for rain this morning as we are getting dry. We just ask that you be with us and keep us quenched, Father. These things I pray in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen. Please join us for the pledge to the U.S. flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the pledge to the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, everyone, please be seated. All right, at this time I'd like to invite Kyle Lesser from the District Attorney's Office up, as well as John Gillespie, our District Attorney, to present 20-year service certificate to Kyle. So John brought the certificate with him. No, you're good. And just want to make sure before turning it over to him, 20 years is a long time. You've got a lot of hair, you don't look like you've been here long. But Kyle, we always want to recognize milestones like this. And like I said, 20 years is a long time of faithful service, so thank you. With that, I'll turn it over to John.
Sure. And Kyle does so much at the office, but I want to go back. I think Joby's the only other person in the DA's office that can say this. We've actually negotiated cases with him as a defense attorney because he came to work for the public defender's office first. And how long were you there, Kyle?
About 6 months.
6 months. And so I remember that. And then he came over and was working juvenile. Kyle is so just instrumental in everything we do at the DA's office. He's our chief felony prosecutor. He mentors our young lawyers. He cares. He's here late. He works weekends. The case that always comes to my mind is the Justin Love case, which he had to try twice. But he's worked tirelessly to get justice for Dominic Thrasher. Court of Appeals reversed it on a technicality, so we had to do it again. So Kyle suited back up, went in there, and we got 50 years the first time. Kyle gets life the second time on the retrial, so he appealed himself into a higher sentence. But he works tirelessly when Dobie takes the bench. It's my hope, and I think Kyle's in agreement. He's going to be the first assistant in the DA's office. So we are very blessed in Wichita County to have him and for everything he does for justice and for the citizens of Wichita County. So thank you so much for your service.
Pictures?
Kyle, thank you.
Appreciate you.
And now half the audience will leave. All right, I think that's all for our presentations this morning. It is 10:04, and we will open up for public comment. I remind everyone that we ask that public comment be limited to 5 minutes or less. Commissioners Court cannot take action on any item brought up during public comment. So with that, do we have any public comment? I'll make one real quick. Talked to Dwayne Birkenfeld yesterday about where we might be looking forward on potential burn bans and as we start to dry out. He actually visited with all the fire chiefs, and we're not at the point yet, but at the volunteer fire department, the rural fire department meeting in a couple of weeks in mid-August, Commissioner Fincannon, who's the liaison, and I are going to attend that meeting and hear from them directly with another 2 weeks of probably heat and dry conditions, and see what they say and where we might be on that. So,
And
just
lots of fuel.
Yep.
We raised a lot of fuel in the spring, so.
Do you have any other public comment this morning? Okay. All right, it is 10:05 and public comment is closed. So at this time, let's move to the consent agenda. I've got two small corrections to make to a couple of items. First item on number 4, that should be a motion to authorize the county judge to sign release of easement on property located at 215 Vickers Court, not 21 Vickers Court. And item number 7, just as a clarification, is a motion to advertise for bids for road materials. Okay. Do we have any?
What,
go ahead.
Judge, what did we, Cheryl, I saw a notice, but I can't remember when it was. I think we had that subdivision meeting, but they were wanting to talk about the road materials, or did you get the information you needed?
That was, I think Tana was leading that meeting. Commissioner Beecham, I think, was a part of it.
Okay.
There wasn't that many
Yeah.
people there. I think it was Tana, Melvin, Margaret, and
Me,
me.
yeah. It was just to go out. We for RFPs anymore, we have a pre-meeting, so it was just to go discuss the parameters of what. the
Okay.
RFP should be.
Yeah.
I knew she was looking for some
So basically, it was
direction.
just setting up the calendar from moving now.
Yeah.
So
Let's set up the calendar and kind of get information on what it is that you need for her to bid that for.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Item 3, what are we doing?
That, Mark, that was, water lines are involved there, but it's not, any part of the equation much. We're drainage from Halls Road that is, coming down to Horseshoe Lake. It's not able to get there, and then Horseshoe Lake all the way to the river. The intersection turning into the HOA stands in water and it can't drain correctly, so it's realigning all the drains that will put the water where it needs to go in 2 different places actually. But there is some water line in the way out in the drain, in the bar ditch that
So
we have to lower.
We're not installing new water lines to people's property.
No.
Okay, that's kind of the way it read, so I was
Yeah,
really
no,
concerned that we were getting into
it's just
something.
getting them out of our way
Okay,
because
got
they
you.
were.
That makes sense, but without any documentation, it
we
was hard
just-
to understand what was going on.
Right.
Jeff, so that the record on the minutes is clear, and when no one remembers this and is looking 5 years from now, would it be better for that to say, instead of to install wire lines, to realign drainage and move water lines?
Yeah, I would think and
Okay.
relocate.
It'd be
And
more
relocate.
descriptive
Okay.
of what we're
Yeah.
doing.
Judge, what is that again?
So it's gonna be motion to approve John Jones' quote in the amount of 22.5 to realign drainage and relocate water lines, and then the rest will stay the same. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, so we've got those changes to 3, 4, and 7. Do we have any other questions or comments on any of these
will.
items? Yes,
So
sir.
we'll just bring to attention number 6, those culverts. It doesn't have any sizes in there, but that's gonna be for 2 60-foot by 10-foot culverts to replace that bridge out there. Just letting the public know. That's
Yeah,
what
these
it's
aren't,
for.
these aren't small.
These
They're
aren't, yeah,
huge.
definitely not your standard culverts, but they are on site now, so we can get them paid for. Maybe we can get them in there pretty quick. But
Motion to approve consent agenda with the noted changes.
second,
We've got a motion by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon, to approve the consent agenda as amended. Do you have any questions or comments on the motion or any of the other items any of the items on the consent agenda? Okay, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. So now we go to general business, item number 1. Discuss, consider, and/or take action to increase the max salaries for the following district attorney's office positions to $95,000 for the remainder of 2024 to be funded from SB 22 funds with lines determined by the county auditor. Mr. Gillespie, do you want to come up and discuss this a little bit?
So, I appreciate the court's help in attempting to find somebody to fill the spot that Dobie would leave. Kyle was always going to move into first assistant, but then that would open up the chief felony prosecutor. The search firm that we hired made 900 contacts statewide, and they were hitting people who were, I think they started with people who were qualified, but they hit 2 of our former employees that I would not have even considered at the level for what we were going to pay for that. And out of 900 contacts and just extensive searching, they couldn't find a single candidate who wanted to apply for the position. And I said, well, is there a salary thing we need to talk about? And they said, frankly, it's Wichita Falls. And I love our community. I'm just being blunt with the situation, that the legal environment that we're in hiring-wise, and that it's in prosecution offices across the state, but then communities like ours, when Dallas and Fort Worth and those places are hiring, when there's a smaller pool of people, apparently law schools are turning out fewer lawyers, and so there's a greater demand economically for that. So my game plan was always to try to hire somebody at that level of experience to come in to be chief felony prosecutor when Kyle promoted to first assistant. That didn't work. So then I shifted to a model of attempting to use our grant money and our resources to retain some mid-levels. And one of our mid-levels, his dream was always to be in JAG, and I found out a couple of weeks ago that it's a very elite program, and he got tremendous experience here and made a tremendous impact on our office. But he's been accepted to JAG, and he'll be commissioned in September. I'm proud of him. Honor his service. He gave us 4 years here. I wish we could find other people that were willing to do that. We've been down 2 positions that we essentially get no applicants for. Dobie, at the latest, will leave in December 31st, and then Matt will leave in September. So we go into a situation where we're down 2, and we're about to be down 4. There's a 5th that I needed a year on his retirement, so he came back for a year. That was always the agreement, so he leaves. I can't have any negotiations with him. I'll try to get him back in February, but he has to separate under IRS rules, and so we can't have those conversations. So fingers crossed on that one, but at a minimum, we'll be down 4 by the end of the year, and we just don't get resumes. So I switched into, Cheryl was helpful with us, that we had some unused Senate bill money for this year. I wanted to triage the positions. There's a similar position in town that's about to come open that's 93, that's with the city. And so with everything we do, from our attorneys that provide y'all support, not Mel, but Mel's assistants, to our misdemeanor prosecutors, and our felony prosecutors, frankly, all of them are competitive. I think, I'm not saying what the city municipal prosecutor is not important, but that's my concern, that we have to be competitive with that. And I just can't, we can't be in a position where we bleed anybody else out. And that's the legal environment and the economy that we currently live in. So that's Senate bill money that we have for this year. And then we'll have to figure out the budget situation for next year.
So just to make sure I understand, this change is designed to help with retaining the folks that are currently on staff.
That's correct. And 2 of the positions aren't filled, and unless there is something, say a prayer for us, but unless there is something miraculous that happens, I anticipate we're going to be going to 4 positions that are unfilled, and I don't know what's going to change that. I don't think this will fix the applications, But I can't have anyone leaving right now because they're doing extra work. And that's, everything's driven by economics and the positions. So that's the state, very frankly, that we're in.
And from talking to LaDonna and Cheryl yesterday, so because of those unfilled positions that we had originally slotted money in out of the grant to pay for, that's where the extra money is coming from to pay for the rest of the year. It does create a budget issue for 25 that we couldn't count on that money in unfilled positions to budget for out of grant money. So it would be a good problem to have if John ends up filling spots in 25. Then it's going to be a county budget issue that can't be paid for out of the grant. But that doesn't come into play with this. This is just for the remainder of 24,
Right.
which is out of grant money.
And that would be a problem I would love to have because
Right.
the other is getting to be an emergency type situation, so.
But we would expect to carry it forward to 25, I'm assuming,
So
even though we're not
SB
proving that, yeah.
The rate, maybe.
Yeah.
The SB 22 money is a use it or lose it. If it is not used by December 31st
Yeah.
or encumbered in a way where we could use it, then we have to send a check back to the state. And
Okay.
like ARPA, I don't want us to do that, so.
Right.
And Judge, I want to confirm what John is saying. I've tried everything to recruit, and we have posted on Indeed, TAC, Chamber, other state websites. There are none to be had, and once we get one in as an intern and we think we can really work on them, they go somewhere else. But whatever we can do, and the only thing I have on Indeed is the free postings because it's very costly. And I can change the title up just a little and they'll retake it again as a new posting. Hadn't worked. We haven't gotten any applicants.
We had a guy that he had been in another DA's office and we called and they're like really not cut out to be a prosecutor. Some people are and some aren't. I'm like, well, in the situation we're in, I need somebody with a bar card that can at least go, cover stuff. They interviewed him by Zoom. He's in California now, and this was 3 weeks ago. They liked him. We offered him the job over Zoom, and he was going to call back and set up a time to come visit Wichita County. Never called us back. So it's just we are immediately following up on any leads, and Tanya's been very helpful in this. But it's just. From what I understand, there are about 15 years ago, there was a glut where too many law schools were producing too many lawyers, and we were in a good hiring position, but between the economy and people have just cut back and they're not going to law school, which has driven the value of the license up.
Wow. So to be clear, this does not help in recruitment, it helps in retaining.
Yes, I'm just
We're
trying to
gonna do
triage
something
and-
else
Yes.
down the road to help in
It
recruitment.
doesn't hurt
No,
recruitment
but
because
it-
2 of those positions
Yeah.
are open,
Yeah.
but it's designed mainly as a retaining
Right.
factor.
I'm
It's a Band-Aid.
Yeah,
I hope that it if the salary's more attractive, then maybe, it could help, but my number one goal is to triage right now.
it's a good word. That's good, that's all we're doing.
Yes.
What happens to those unfilled positions, John, when we don't utilize that money?
The grant money, we lose it for the
Right.
year.
So the way the current rules are in like ARPA, they're ever changing. It is a use it or lose it. However, it lets us reallocate that. So I've been monitoring it we hit our first 6 months. I'll look at it again in September. And we may need at the end of the year to increase that pay range in order to help Band-Aid his spot or do recruitment, but it will let us use those funds as well. But ultimately that pay rate is up to the 5 of you, but I've been monitoring, so we use all of those funds. And I will have to do the same with the SO, and we may have that same situation for their unfilled. They have less of an issue with that, but they still may have some.
Any other questions for John?
No, I make the motion to approve.
Second.
All right, I've got a motion by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Watts to approve the proposed max salary changes in the district attorney's office. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion for the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0.
I appreciate y'all's support
Thanks,
so
John.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
All right.
I don't understand. I love Wichita County.
I know.
But we need to go to Dallas and make way more.
All right. It is currently 10:20 a.m. and we will open up this public hearing on the redistricting of Wichita County's Justice of the Peace precincts. I'll introduce this and then I will invite our Assistant Elections Administrator up to give us a few more details. It's not unheard of, but it is uncommon for us to be talking about redistricting outside of the 10-year census cycle. But there was an issue that came up that with the maps for our JP precincts that we need to address. Earlier this year, one of our JPs and our elections administrator noticed that for a handful of voters, their JP assignment in the state Teams database software did not match the map that was adopted in the lines on the map for JP precincts. So state law requires that any commissioner precinct can't be broken up with JP justice precinct lines. And that was the issue that we had in three specific places. So in other words, all of the voters in the same voting precinct for commissioners, they must have the same JP. So if you're in precinct 208,
So they can't share.
they can't share a JP3 and JP2 within 208.
Within the
the
individual
right.
precinct. Yeah.
The maps didn't reflect that requirement, and so in order to fix this discrepancy, we needed to redraw the lines. And then this map that we're going to talk about and potentially take action on today accomplishes that. Now, to talk through the specifics and to go through a lovely PowerPoint, I'm going to ask Nettie Hernandez to come up. She's our Assistant Elections Administrator, as y'all know, and come up and walk us through the specifics.
Thanks.
Is this your first time to speak for court?
Yes.
Welcome.
Thanks. Okay, so as the judge said, we do have 3 precincts that are currently being impacted by this change on the map. 205, 309, and precinct 208.
And these are voting precincts.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
And then I believe I just used this clicker.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So here you'll see that on the current JP Constable map, it gets split into, Roller Road gets split into 2 precincts, which is 2 different JP Constable precincts, which is 2 and 3. 2 being the pink area, and then 3 is the gray area. But precinct 205 incorporates that south side of Roller Road. So we're wanting the proposed changes to be made where the south side of Roller Road will be incorporated to include that. So basically following that precinct 205 boundary, as you see there.
Okay. Bottom right, yeah.
Yes.
Makes sense.
And then here on the current JP Constable map, you see that it's also split into 2 different JP Constable precincts, 2 and 1. 2 being the pink area, and then 1 is the green. And that is at 77 Ranch Road. Well, precinct 208 extends well beyond 77 Ranch Road. So with the proposed changes, we're wanting JP, the Constable 2 line of precinct 208, the boundary to follow, which includes that area below 77 Ranch Road.
Mhm.
And then with precinct 309, you have that on the current JP Constable map, it splits into 2 sections of precinct 309 into 2 different JP Constable precincts, 1 and 3. As you see there, there's 3 different
Came up like
sections.
that, Barry.
I didn't either.
Precinct 309 starts below Rogers Road, but it also incorporates all of Country Meadow Drive, as well as a portion of Wellington Lane, and extends past Spring Lake Road.
And that is precinct 1?
So precinct 1
Constable
is,
precinct.
Oh,
No,
oh, okay.
Don't give me that.
Okay. Okay, that's what was throwing me.
With the proposed changes, we will make the JP Constable 3 line follow that precinct 309 boundary to now include all of those areas of Country Meadow Drive, a portion of Wellington Lake, and then what extends out to Spring Lake Drive or Road. And then in our voter registration system, each precinct is only allowed that one JP assignment. So in our system, these precincts were already assigned to that JP. We're just changing the map to reflect that as what it is shown in our JP, in our voter registration system, sorry.
So right now, there are folks who their voter registration card reflects the changes that we're talking about today on
Yes.
the maps, but the map lines were different because
Correct,
the
yes.
system won't let them.
We cannot, you're only, we're only allowed to one JP assignment. So you can't, so basically the map, we're trying to make the map reflect
So-
what is in our voter
So
registration
we've already
system.
fixed it for the voters, now we just gotta fix the.
Right, so like
the-
your cards are, yes, so
We gotta
everyone
fix the
at the
map.
voter registration system only does have that one JP assignment.
Okay, makes sense.
Constables work a little different, so constables can vary per precinct. But we went in, the number of individuals that could be affected by this change is very minimal. We estimated it at like 250 voters or so. Okay.
Any questions for
So,
Patty?
so the constables will align with the JPs?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, got it. All right.
Because the JP and the constables are the same.
And in the corrective order that we'll be talking through in the next item after the public hearing is over, it clearly reflects that it's both JP and constables.
Okay,
Yes.
got it.
Any other questions on that?
Great job, Nettie.
Thank you.
Commend the office for catching this and working to get it
Yes.
fixed.
Yep.
Took a lot of work.
How did we get here?
What do you
There
mean?
was a mistake done from the company that we hired.
Okay.
In 2021 with the maps.
Oh, that,
When
I'm telling you,
Bass
that
did it.
is a complicated process.
Yeah, and
Trying
it's
to work
very,
all
it was
out.
hard for us to read even some of those
Yeah.
because we didn't have proper software that showed that mapping the same.
And I think it was it's probably more of an oversight on Bass's
So
part
we're
than
just
anything.
updating our map to
Right.
match what's there.
That's correct.
which
Correct,
Makes
yes.
good sense. Very good.
Maddie, thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have, at this time, invite any member of the public who wishes to speak on the issue? Invite them to do so. Do we have any public comment right now? Okay. All right, then, if there's nothing else, I'll note the time the public hearing is closed at 10:27 a.m. And we will move on to item number 3, which is consider and take action as necessary on redistricting of Wichita County Justice of the Peace precincts.
I would-
Just motion to approve.
But it needs to reflect justice of the peace and constable precincts both.
So let me read the last 2 paragraphs of the order itself. Attached to this order, realigning justice precincts is a correct map of the justice precincts conform to comply with section 42.005 Texas Election Code. Said map shall henceforth govern the true boundaries of the justice of the peace precincts in Wichita County, Texas. By the way of this order, realigning justice of the peace precincts, the elections administrator of Wichita County is hereby directed to reassign voters according to the registered home address to comply with this order. And you're right, we do need to have
Yeah.
it say constable precincts.
Yep, in alignment with.
So amend your motion to approve it in
Yeah,
alignment with the actual order.
with the justice of the peace and the constables.
And
As, yeah, with
I'll
the order.
second. Yeah, with the order.
Constable
Just make it with the
precinct
order.
is the same as a JP precinct?
Yes.
It's supposed to be, yes.
And I'll second that if that's the motion.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so the motion by Commissioner Fincannon, and did you second it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And seconded by Commissioner Beecham, is to approve the order realigning justice of the peace and constable precincts in accordance with the map that was laid out in everyone's
Perfect.
packet. All right, do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0.
I was about to call the guys and tell them to hold up on the chip seal, and precinct 1 was taking over 2 or 3.
No.
Never mind, carry on.
Y'all can have Wellington and Huntington and all that. I don't want nothing to do with it.
Item number 4, discuss, consider, and/or take action to approve and ratify the minutes of the July 23rd, 2024 regular session and the July 26th, 2024 special session.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Mahler, seconded by Commissioner Beecham to approve and ratify the minutes of both sessions. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item?
Are the minutes attached to the agenda? Because I couldn't get them pulled up. I had to go back to when you sent them out last week.
I thought I did. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
I can send them to you right now.
No, I've got them from when you emailed them, so just make sure that
They
they're
just need to be on there.
attached on the permanent record.
All right, no questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion's before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 5, review and approve the regular bills for payment. Verify payroll taxes have been filed. And order county treasurer to disperse payroll and/or bills within 72 hours via U.S. mail, FedEx, UPS, or electronically unless directed otherwise, or may be picked up and ledgered in the treasurer's office.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion by Commissioner Kincannon, seconded by Commissioner Beecham to approve, verify, and disperse. Any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0. Item number 6, receive the Wichita County Investment Committee report. Commissioner Beecham?
Yes, Judge. The committee did meet last week after our Commissioners Court meeting. A little out of step as normal. We normally would meet before we would present to Commissioners Court the state of our investments. We did have one action item that I wanted the court to be aware of. In our recent conference we went to, we discovered that we needed to make some amendments to some of our policy, mainly dealing with our collateralization. We need a stronger collateralization policy, so the action item is to rewrite that and present it for the court to approve at a later date.
Action item for the investment
For the
committee.
investment committee
Okay.
to rewrite that policy and to make it a more hardy policy to offer better protections for our investments. So
Okay.
it's not that we're out of compliance, but we need to have a more hardy policy, put it that way.
Have any questions for Commissioner Beecham or about this item in general? Okay.
Thank you.
No action taken then. Let's move to item number 7, which is discuss, consider, and/or take action on the contract with My Staff Employment Services. So the new agreement should be in your backup packet. It is nearly identical to our previous agreement that we had with My Staff with a few changes. First one is we removed the indemnification provisions and clarified the provisions on late fees. The original one had a specific amount and time frame that did not match state law, so we got those together. There are also 2 additions that I want to bring note of. First is we added a provision in the hiring policy section that temporary employees cannot begin work until all checks, so criminal background check, other checks, and screening like drug screening is done and acknowledged by Human Resources. And then a second one added a sentence in the rate schedule portion establishing a pay rate cap of $18 an hour unless the Commissioner's Court provides authorization for an exception. So those are the 2 big changes. And so the action requested on this would be to approve the agreement and authorize the county judge to sign it effective September 1st of 2024. Does anyone have any questions about the agreement or the proposed changes? And just so that y'all know, still working with Express on this. I haven't let that one go, but because Express is bigger and corporate, it's a little longer to make changes to an agreement. So still working with them on basically changes that would be uniform with what we're doing here with my staff. All right.
Motion to approve.
Come.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon, to approve the agreement and authorize the county judge to sign it effective September 1st, 2024. Have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? Okay, that motion's before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 8. Discuss, consider, and/or take action to hire a temporary receptionist for the Veteran Service Office and the Human Services Office with salary to be paid from unused salary funds in Department 640 and any balance paid from general fund contingencies with lines determined by the county auditor. Commissioner Beecham?
Yes, Judge, I know this is a kind of an odd thing that we would be robbing Peter to pay Paul, so to speak, but there's a method to the madness. As most of you are aware, Adam is leaving our employment. He's taken a better offer, which we're glad to see him move up, and hate to see him go, but glad to see him move up. Which leaves us with a one-person office, Tina, for some time. With that, it's very difficult to get a VSO completely through their certification and up and operational speedily. It'll take 90+ days in order to make that happen. So it'd leave Tina basically running that office herself. Therefore, we want to bring in somebody to kind of run the front gate, if you will, to make sure that the people are getting back there to her desk are the ones that really need to see her right then. And she's not inundated with questions throughout the day while she's trying to train somebody new. The point of pulling from indigent health line is at some point in the future, kind of see those two offices not merge, but work more closely together, with that position eventually becoming the gatekeeper for both offices, because they're both very small. If you have somebody out, it really disrupts everything, but to have somebody there to man the window and make sure every client that walks through the door is at least seen by a human being is very important, so.
And the plan is, even now, while the search for a new veteran service officer goes on and getting them up to speed, this new position would focus more of their time in the VSO, but after
Right.
that, it would be
to
split time between the two and split responsibilities.
Yeah, the overall thought is to move them in close proximity together, both offices, and have that receptionist actually work out of the window of human services, but everyone checks in there, and they would guide our different human services clients to their various offices, so. That's the long term for it.
Okay.
So I would make that motion to approve. And I guess approve at $15 an hour plus fees.
Second.
All right, got a motion by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Mahler, to approve hiring of a temporary receptionist for VSO and HSO with salary coming from unused salary funds in Department 640 at $15 an hour. Do you have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? Okay, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 9, receive update on courthouse renovations and county courthouse annexes. Commissioner Beecham?
It seems to have been a slower week, but a lot of things are still getting done. Annex, they're commissioning the AC as we speak. They had some issues with the electrical yesterday that required the electrician to be back on site. I don't know if they completed the task from yesterday, but the air conditioning commissioning is the big item that we're working on right now. Here at the courthouse, the 30th, they painted most of the interior suite, so all the judge office and all the meeting rooms and everything have been painted inside the suite. Should start staining next week. They're building the bar wall first. Bar wall is being constructed right now. They're up on the third and fourth floor landing, fixing the ceiling issues. They did cut that 3 inches off, and now I can actually stand on the step and not bust my head.
Yeah.
So that's a big step. It probably won't help you much, but
Every little bit helps.
I can get under it now. So, you asked about floor tiles yesterday. They should be delivered within the next 2 weeks, and we've got a crew on standbys when they get here, so.
And that's a pretty quick job once they get the.
Yeah, it'll be a couple of days,
Okay.
so things are moving.
Okay. Any questions about courthouse renovations or the annex? Okay. All right, it is currently 10:41, and at this time, we will go into closed session for discussions with the county's IT department regarding cameras at the LEC. This meeting is closed pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 1.09, deliberations about security devices. So I will ask everyone to clear the courtroom. All right, it is 10:50 a.m. and we are back in open session. So at this time, we will take up the item, consider and take action to approve Cornerstone quote number 07192024-CR01 for an amount up to $5,075.80 for cameras at the LEC to be paid from Department 511 with lines determined by the county auditor.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I've got a motion by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon to approve the quote for an amount up to $5,075.80. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item?
What?
It says to be paid from Department 511.
Yeah, that would be the jail building department
Okay.
itself.
Okay.
I mean, we can take it out of.
No, I just,
It's okay. We'll do 511. I think that's,
I mean, 560 good for you?
no.
oh, 560 is fine.
Yeah, 561 is what they would avoid. So yeah, it would be
Okay.
charged directly to the
Just make
building.
sure that we were,
Yeah. Thank you for asking first and not later.
You expect the federal government ever has discussions like that?
Maybe.
Take that $3 trillion from them.
All right, do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The motion carries 5-0. It is 10:51 and
We gotta
court
sing happy
is
birthday to Mickey.
adjourned.
We're not singing.